Good morning, students. Today we'll begin unit number 4 from the diaries of Anne Frank. Now, in this chapter, first of all, it is a real life story that we should keep in mind before we begin. And from the book also, before you read, we need to go through it because it is very important part of the chapter. According to that only you will be able to understand it better. So page number 48, before you read, Anneliese Marie Anne Frank, 12th June 1929, February March, up till 1945, was a German-born Jewish girl. We should remember the name of the country also, and the places are more important. So, was a German-born Jewish girl, and she was Jewish, who wrote while in hiding with her family and 4 friends in Amsterdam during the German occupation of the Netherlands in the World War II. So, it's the story, the real life incident is revolves just close to the World War II. That we should keep in mind. Here, her family had moved to Amsterdam after the Nazi gained power in Germany, but were trapped when the Nazi occupation extended into the Netherlands. You might have heard the might or might not have heard the word Nazis. They are associated with the most brutal leader in the history, as we know, and you might have heard very well his name, that is Adolf Hitler. He had his Nazi rule, and he was very brutal, killed thousands and millions of people, especially the Jewish people. He slaughtered them in thousands. So this is just one of the story about it. Extended into the Netherlands. So they were in Netherlands, but slowly the power of Adolf Hitler was gaining across Europe and was getting through. As the persecutions means eliminating, killing people for the race, according to the race, religion or social beliefs. So he hated those people. Against the Jewish population increased, the family went into hiding in July 1942. So people were, especially the Jewish people, were running away here and there, and they had to hide for years, because if they were caught by the Nazi soldiers, they were brutally murdered or thrown into the camps where they were kept as prisoners. So in 1942, in hiding rooms in her father, Otto Frank, that is the name of the girl, Anne's father's name was Otto Frank, office building. So they were hiding in their office building. After 2 years in hiding, just imagine, for years they were hiding, they could not come out, they could not go anywhere, and they were just the prisoners in their own home. So 2 years, imagine, they were just hiding in a room. The group was betrayed and transported. Means betrayed means someone gave the information that Jewish people are hiding here. So they were caught, and that was the time when all the trouble started in their life, and transported to the concentration camp. Now concentration camps, especially they were during the Nazi rules. It was just like very huge camps, a type of prison. They were not allowed, they were not given proper food, sanitization facility or medical facility. They lived a life much more worse than animals do. Means these types of camps were held, and every day they used to kill people there, and many people used to die without facilities, disease and lack of all kinds of facility. So they were transported to those types of concentration camp system where and died of typhus. Now that is a kind of a fever uh, which you gain through a bacteria, and obviously they were not given food, so how can they get medicine? So lots and lots of people died due to this fever. They had no facility, no medical facility, nothing. They were made to do very hard work there, and the poor girl later on died there. In Bergen's Belsen, within days of her sister, Margot Frank, that was the name of the sister also. Her father, Otto, the only survivor. The entire family slowly died in those concentration camps. Only his father, Otto Frank, survived all this. Of the group, returned to Amsterdam after the war ended. He was also a prisoner there, but when the war ended, they became free. And when the war ended, to find that her diary had been saved. So during that time, the girl was writing a diary. And you might not be knowing that this Anne Frank's diary has still a record of being read. It is the world's second largest read book after the Bible. Means the entire world, as we compare, first place is the Bible and second most read book is this Anne Frank's diary. Just imagine how important it is. It is almost translated in all the languages. Films have been made, short films have been made on it, and lots of theatrical performance have also been made. Means she is a very very famous character, but the poor girl lived a very very miserable life when she was alive. But this all happened after her death. So this is in the memory where she was buried, Margot Frank and Anne Frank. Continued that it was a unique record, and what she recorded that was very unique, because through that her diary the world came to know that what was going through during that time and how much the brutality they had faced. He took action to have it published in English under the name of the Diary of the Young Girl. So his father somehow got that book and he published it. The diary was given to Anne Frank for her 13th birthday as a chronicle, the chronicles events of her life from 12 June. Just a small diary was given to her birthday, but that simple birthday gift became a historical document. On 12 June 1942 until its final entry in the 1st August 1944. So she wrote it from 12 June 1942 and the last entry is on the 1st August 1944. It was eventually translated from its original Dutch, that is the language of Netherlands, into many languages and became one of the world's most widely read book. There have also been several films, televisions and theatrical productions and even an opera based on the diary, described as the work of a mature and insightful mind. Means what she wrote was really very very mature. She was very young, but the way she wrote was in a very matured way. Means as grown up elders write, the writing was such insightful mind. The diary provides an intimate examination of the daily life under the Nazi occupation. What was going through this girl every day wrote, and it became a document. Anne Frank has become one of the most renowned, means well known and discussed of the Holocaust victim. Holocaust is the mass murder that the Nazi rule did. Very very brutal one. So this is a very important document that we can understand. Now from here we'll begin the chapter. Writing in a diary is really strange experience for someone like me not only because I have never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later on neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the musing of a 13-year-old schoolgirl. So when she began writing, she was writing just for herself. She never knew that this diary would be such important later on. But she was writing and she was saying that it is just for me I am writing. Nobody would be interested in reading this book, in reading this diary. For a 13-year-old girl, small girl, what would she write? And what would be so important? So she just had nothing to do at that time, just working and staying in the camp, but she started writing. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I feel like writing and I have an even greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. So actually when she was writing, she was feeling a bit relaxed. So as she wrote, as we tell our problems to our friend and the problem declines. In the same way, this diary was, whenever she wrote, she felt it a relief. Next paragraph. Paper has more patience than people. Very important line this is. Paper has more patience than people. Means on the paper you write, you can write, it won't say that whenever you are writing, you can write whatever you want to wish, it will wait for you, people won't wait. So it has lots of patience. I thought of this saying on one of those days when I was feeling a little depressed, she is writing, and was sitting at home with my chin in my hands, bored and listless. When she was getting bored, nothing to do, listless, free time, having nothing to do, clueless, wondering whether to say it or go out. She was thinking that should she write or should she go out. She was thinking and she started writing. I finally stayed where I was. Brooding, yes, paper does have more patience. And since I am not planning to let anyone else read this tough back notebook, grandly refers to as a diary, and she never even wanted somebody that they should read the diary. She was just writing it for herself. Many times she was getting bored, she had nothing to do, so she just sat and started writing because she says that she loved writing. Unless I should ever find a real friend, she said that she did not have a friend. So the diary was a kind of a friend where she could share everything to the diary. So that was saying that I should have a real friend. It probably won't make a bit of difference. Now I am back to the point that promoted me to keep a diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. She is admitting that why she wrote diary and she kept the diary, cause the main reason was that she had no friends at that time. Let me put it more clearly, since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world. Now she is saying that nobody would believe that a 13-year-old girl, how can she be alone? Didn't she have anyone, not even family or friends or anything? Now she is clarifying that, alone in the world. And I am not. She says, no, I was not alone. I am not alone. I have loving parents and a 16-year-old sister, and there are about 30 people I can call friends. See, she had family, father, mother, friend, 30 she says, family members, and a sister also, and 30 more people I can call friends. I have a family, loving aunt, and a good home. Everything she had, see, family, friends, home, everything. No, on the surface, I seem to have everything. She says, I had everything except my one true friend. But she says that she never had a true friend. There. All I think about when I am with my friend is having a good time. And she also, as you all know, that when we are with our friends, we have a very good time. And she missed that. She says that I didn't have a good a true friend. So I did not have a very good time at the time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. He says that there is not much that happens in my life, almost normal things that we all have during our daily life every day. We don't seem to be able to get any closer, and that's the problem. Maybe it is my fault that we don't confide. Confide means to tell personal things to someone else whom we trust as our friend. So we don't confide in each other. In any case, that's just how things are, and unfortunately they are not liable to change. Means these are the way things go, this is the way how life goes, and we cannot many times much do. It's not liable to change. We cannot change many times these things. This is why I have started the diary. And now she says, this is the reason that I started writing diary. Next paragraph. To enhance the image of this long awaited friend in my imagination. She was waiting that sometime, someday, I would have a really good and a true close friend. Until then, the diary is my friend with whom I can share everything. So she is waiting that one day she will have a good friend. I don't want to jot down, means to write down the facts in this diary the way most people would do so. But I want the diary to be my friend, and I am going to call this friend Kitty. So see, now what did she do? She made the diary her friend, and she also gave the diary a name, Kitty. Kitty is my friend, and I am going to share everything with my friend. Page number 51. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in. She says that if I directly start writing, plunge in means if I directly start writing, and if somebody would read, they would not understand anything. I'd better provide a brief sketch of my life. So as even before this chapter we began, I told you that it is more important for us to understand this chapter by before you read, which is given in the book, and it just gave you an outline of what is in the entire chapter, what is the life of Anne Frank. So just a type of introduction. So she also began the diary by writing such kind of an introduction. She says, so that if somebody would by chance read, then they would understand it better. My father, the most adorable, means loving father I have ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. So she is beginning with the father and the mother. My sister Margot was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. Her sister, she was the birthday. I was born on 12th June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt, the city, in Germany until I was 4. So for 4 years they lived there. My father immigrated to Holland. Means now they from Germany they went to Holland, Netherlands in 1933. They left that country and went to Holland. My mother, Edith Hollander Frank, went with him to Holland in September. Now the mother, after few months, she also went there. While Margot and I were sent to Aachen to stay with our grandmother. See, father and mother were living at different place and they were living with their grandmother. Margot went to Holland in December. Margot went to Holland in December and I followed in February. Then Margot went, and after that in February even she went. When I was plunked down on the table, plunked down means it's informal word, put down in a casual way, on the table as a birthday present for Margot. So she was as a birthday present for the sister, present for Margot. I started writing away at the Montessori nursery school. So she started going to school, Montessori. I stayed there until I was 6, and there she was in the school up till the age of 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the sixth form, my teacher was Mrs. Cabarrus, the head mistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. So she was very much attached to the headmistress, her teacher, and she says that when it was time to say farewell, when she was going, the teacher and she both were in tears, they were crying, they were missing each other. In the summer of 1941, grandma fell ill and had to have an operation. So the grandmother was ill and she had to be operated. So my birthday passed with little celebration. At that time was her birthday and they did not actually celebrate it much because the grandma was ill. Grandmother died in January 1942, just 1 year after. Grandmother died. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. See, she says that no one will know that how much I loved my grandmother and how much I still love her. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the other. So this birthday was important and grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. So as they celebrated her birthday in the memory of grandmother, they lit another candle because they all loved the grandmother very much. The four of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present day of 20th June 1942 and the solemn dedication to my diary. Now as she says, she begins the way she was writing the diary. Page number 52. Dearest Kitty, Saturday 20th June 1942, the date on which she wrote this, and we actually have the habit of writing Dear Diary, as we have in our course also diary writing. She used to write, she had named her diary Kitty, so she is telling her, Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quacking in its boots. Quacking in its boots means shaking with fear and nervousness. Everybody was afraid. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teacher decided who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. So now the time was, everybody was nervous because just like the final exam we have, and it was the time that who is going to get through the class and who is going to be kept back, who is going to fail, who is going to pass next form and who will be kept back. Half the class is making bets. They were making bets. He is going to stay, he is going to go. GN and I laugh ourselves silly at the two boys behind us, GN and Jacques, who have staked their entire holiday saving on their bets. Now they are talking about the different class students, and she is saying that everybody was betting that who is going to remain back in the same class and who is going to move forward. From morning to night, it's yours. You are going to pass. And everybody was, the main topic through the class was, you are going to pass, no I am not, yes you are, no I am not. Even G's pleading glance and my angry outburst can't calm them down. So they were just having fun about who is going to pass, somebody used to say you are going to pass, then he would say no, I am not going to pass, you are going to pass, I am not going to pass, and all this kind of stuff was going on. If you ask me, there are so many dummies, means weak students, those who don't study. And she is telling that if you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. Now she is saying that in our class there are so much weak students, dummies, that the quarter of the class should be kept back. They should not be. They should not pass. The teacher should not pass them. They should not be allowed to go into the next class because they are very very weak. Quarter of the class should be kept. And what was the quantity? The quarter of the class. So much weak students were there. But the teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on earth. This line is going to come again, and it has a meaning that we are going to do. Why does she say that the teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth? So here we stop. In the next portion we are going to complete the next of the chapter. Until then, take care. Thank you very much.